Found this footage which was just before the jet ski caught on fire. Unfortunately, the camera wasn't running during the fire. That unusual backfiring was a really good indication that something was very wrong with the timing. After the fire, I decided to cover the jet ski up, push it outside and have a good think about what was actually wrong with it and how I was actually going to tackle fixing it. And while gathering my thoughts, I found this bottom end, which was pretty damaged, on Gumtree for sale. So I bought that just in case. This engine had obviously been overheated and seized. When I dragged it back into the garage after about a month outside, I realised that there was probably an incompatibility between the ECU, which was a 1998, and the electronics in the engine, which was a 2000. Things had changed a fair bit over those couple of years. When searching through the internet, I discovered that there was in fact a difference between the 1998 and the 1999 onward flywheel, and the timing holes were in different places. I knew I was on the right track. And yes, there it is. It was in fact a 1999 onward flywheel. As I mentioned in part 1 and 2, I removed the engine, then I removed the oil tank, as I prefer to mix the fuel myself, and then I'm sure that it actually has got oil in the fuel. And I removed the fuel filter from the tank and cleaned out the tank and blew out the intake line, return line and the vent line and the reserve line. And I also removed the MPEM, or ECU as I call it, and connected it to one of my other jet skis to make sure that it was all working correctly. I removed and serviced the fuel tap. I did try to remove the tank from the hull, but it seems that the tank is fitted to the hull and then the deck is put on afterwards, and it's an impossible job to get that tank out. Sea-Doo drive shafts often rust. They're not actually 316 stainless. So I cleaned off the surface, gave it a bit of a skim, and gave it a coating of high quality epoxy. I've used this technique on other drive shafts and had very good results. I gave the engine a good blast over to get rid of all the grease and oil and also the powder from the fire extinguisher, which seems to be quite corrosive. I gave the jet ski hull a bit of a blast over as well. The engine was taped up and then sprayed with an etch primer. Next was the silver OME colour base coat by an epoxy clear, and then I removed the masking tape. One of the things I've been busy doing is I put some new grips on, a new VTS and stop and start button, and replace this. Fix the fuel switch so it's on, off and reserve. Cleaned out in here so it's looking a lot more tidy, a lot better. Work out where all the pipes go. And as you can see, the carby stripped itself down, and I fitted a new carby kit or carby kits and new jets. The Sea-Doo 951 two-stroke engine is basically the epitome of two-stroke technology up to 2001. They are easily maintained and certainly have stood the test of time. Many of these engines are still running after 20 years of faithful service. The engine's all painted up now and ready to go back in. And I've put some new tyres and wheels on.